Hey, what's up, guys? In this episode, I want to talk to you about growing your Spotify followers and streams and keep it consistent. Let's do this.
I spent the last 14 years playing over 1,000 shows, touring 22 different countries, and become a top 40 Billboard charting artist. I fired my record label to go out on my own as an independent artist to market and release my own music, selling thousands of albums and millions of streams. The question I always get is, how did I do it without a label and sell even more music? This podcast is here to show you the way. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share marketing strategies to grow my music business and a loyal fan base.
So I'm just going for a walk. Had to go put on some gloves after this other podcast I recorded because my hands are freezing in April. And yes, I'm a little whiny baby about the cold weather. It's like 6 degrees Celsius here. Man, I just miss California sometimes, and I want to punch winter in the face. I hate it. But anyways, I'm a happy guy. But I want to share some things with you before we jump into this Spotify stuff, because it's tax season, and I got hit pretty good this year. And some people say, if you got to pay money to the government, that means you made money, which is true to an extent. But I personally think the government takes way too much. If God only asked for 10%, why is the government asking for 15 plus? And that's just 15% plus depending on how much money you make. It's more if you make more, depending on what tax bracket, which is really whack. Why penalize people that do well? It should be a flat tax. That's just my personal opinion on that. And that doesn't even include property taxes, gas taxes, food taxes, import taxes. When you look at it all, it's probably like 50% at least we are taxed. It is literally like Robin Hood days where the government takes from us. And people say, oh, well, it's, what about the roads and the lights? It's like, come on, man. That's like the worst excuse ever for the government. We are way overtaxed. And sorry to rant on that stuff, but it's just true. But what do you do about it? What can you do about it? Well, you can always pay the exit tax and leave the country and go live somewhere where there is no income tax and you don't pay tax. But then again, you won't have some of the health care and some of the other finer things. But is that something maybe one day when I'm older I might look into? Yeah, I might. Straight up, I might. But anyways, the reason I want to say that is because I got hit with some taxes, which is frustrating. But this is the other thing too, is that I always save and I always have reserves. Okay, and you should always have reserves for rainy days. All right, don't spend yourself into nothing. And this is something my hero Peter J. Daniels told me, is that if you cannot learn to save, the seeds of success are not in you. And I'm going to say that again. If you cannot learn to save, the seeds of success are not in you. And you might be saying, well, Chris, I can barely afford to pay my bills and all this stuff and whatnot. And guess what? I was there, and I totally feel you, and I totally relate to you, and I get it. When you're struggling at first and just trying to pay the bills. I was there, man. I remember just struggling, trying to make that extra $10, $20, $100 so I could pay my bills. But at the same time, you've got to learn to pay yourself first, okay, and put some away in savings, all right, for those rainy days. And second, you need to learn to get your income up. Okay, you need to work those extra hours. You need to hustle. You need to 10x the effort. We underestimate what we think it takes to really move the needle. Okay, to book a tour, to build a fan base. We think it's just this one thing, but then we start getting into it and we realize, man, this is a lot more effort. I was talking to my wife about wanting to release a new album and stuff like that, and just some of my other dreams. And she wasn't cutting me down, but she's saying, okay, yeah, that's great, Chris. I've been with you for 18 years, and we've been making dreams our reality and doing this. And it sounds really good sharing a dream on the couch. But when it comes time to actually do that dream, that takes a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and hard work. And she was specifically referring to the Kickstarter because it is a lot of work when all of a sudden it comes time to do that. It sounds exciting sharing it with the idea, but when it comes time to actually do the work, it's work and you just got to do it. You got to get your hands dirty. And so it's kind of trying to say to me like, yes, let's do that, but remember, you got to be ready to put in the work. I don't want to hear you complaining when you got to put together packages and you got to hustle to get those pledges in and that support and hitting people. Because sometimes when we talk about a dream, we talk about it and we look at it when it's like it's fulfilled, like it's there, and we talk about it's like the end and you're there, but we don't realize there's a lot of work in the middle. And that's honestly, that's fun part. And that's the challenging part. That's what it's all about. But so I just want to encourage you, it's okay to go through the struggle. Embrace it. Embrace the struggle. Embrace the push for it and just keep going. Okay? So all that to say, let's grow your Spotify numbers and let's grow your Spotify following. And let me just share some interesting statistics and things that I've learned in my account lately and just from releasing songs. I've also running Facebook ads. I got a radio campaign going on right now, which we just got a pretty big station, but as we're recording this, they just started playing the song. This big station, they said about 210,000 people are going to hear the song per week now, which is awesome, but I won't see the effects that may or may not have on Spotify for another week or so I'll let you know. But the point is, when I released a new song about a month ago, I saw my Spotify numbers fly up, okay? They jumped up huge by like 15 to 20,000 monthly listeners. We did get on a couple playlists because I submitted at least a month ahead of time so that we could get on some editorial lists by Spotify. So that gave us a couple thousand listeners. And of course, it triggered the algorithm. So it told all my followers that I had a new song out. So that helped with it. Of course, I had a new music video. But to be honest, that was the weekend my numbers actually went down, because it's funny, once the song is out for like 3 weeks to a month, that's when the numbers started dipping off. And I was furious at my Spotify team that was promoting me to new playlists, because I was like, what the heck, man? Like, I had you hired at the beginning of this song, and why are my numbers going down? And what that showed me is that basically the only reason the numbers went up is because I released a new song and it triggered the algorithm to all my fans, okay, all my followers, and also because it was a new song, it got added to some of the new Music Friday playlists and some of the other different playlists, and so that jumped it up for the first 2-3 weeks. But then after that teetered off, I was hoping that this company was going to get me some more playlists and grow it even more, but they didn't. I freaking put a whip under them, like hardcore, like, yo, you need to step this up. Like, what are you doing? Like, they should have been on it at the same time, because now what's happened is those other playlists, because like the New Music Friday, that's only for the first week or two that you get that, and then plus the algorithm with my fans. Like, it would have been great if it all punched together, and then there's more of a chance I could have gotten even more organic reach. So the whole point and what I'm trying to share is that you want to keep releasing new music. If I want my numbers to go up and I want to re-engage my fans, I got to have a new song in the pipeline ready to rock this, and I do, but I'm kind of wishing that I had one like that could come out maybe in another 2 or 3 weeks, but it's probably not going to come out for another month. Okay, so I've got to do whatever it is I can do to keep my numbers up. Of course, running Facebook ads, Instagram ads, posting on social media, and just bringing people out. I got the music video out there, and I got this, company helping me to get like indie playlists and stuff like that. And so there's all that stuff that you can do. But the most effective thing I've seen is just being consistent in marketing, promoting, but more importantly, re-triggering the algorithm again. And then I want to get on that new Music Friday playlist. And what's interesting and I'm thankful for is that the last song I released was more of a hip-hop song. I was hoping to kind of get some hip-hop playlists on it. I didn't. I got like a new Music Friday and I think a new Music Christian, which was great. But I was hoping to kind of get some hip-hop playlists. But this next one is a bit of a EDM song or a rock song I'm going to be releasing. And I've got some really good traction in the rock world. So I'm hoping with this new rock song that when I submit it to the editorial playlist, and how you do that is once you've uploaded your song via TuneCore, CD Baby, DistroKid, whoever it is, you log into your artist's Spotify account and you submit it. And you got to fill out some forms and tell Spotify about the song, the genre, the style, and da-da-da-da. You got to just, tell a bunch of information about it so that it can now be put in front of your Spotify curators for those bigger editorial playlists, okay? And so that's what I'm going to do again with this next song. And that's why you never, ever want to just whip out a song and just throw it out there. You want to make sure that you plan ahead, because I think it's actually 11 days is the least amount of time you can give them. But I would never do that because that just shows that I'm not organized and I'm rushed. And I want to give them as much time as possible to look at that song. So I always like to say a month just to be safe, okay? And that's called planning. And you don't want to whip it out anyways because you want to do a proper launch. And I talk about doing proper launches in my book, The Music Marketing and Promotions Guide, and you can get a free copy of that at smartmusicbusiness.com/free book, and that will give you all kinds of ideas to promote your new song, your single, and just different angles to talk about your song and just be marketing and promoting it. So I hope that was helpful today. I know I ranted on some things, but just be consistent and have your schedule. Go look at your calendar, write 12 boxes on your wall or in your notebook, and write out January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, and plan out what is going to get released when. When are you going into the studio? When are you going to write the songs? I think I posted something on my Instagram about this because I was thinking, okay, like, what's going to happen when? When am I going to block time to write these songs? When am I going to block time to have the graphic designer finish the work? You know, this Friday, I think it is, that I have a guy that has to turn in designs for this new single cover. And I got to see him, and I got to approve them. And then once it's approved, you better believe I'm going to upload it and schedule the date for this song to be released. And it's going to be a Friday because, remember, it's New Music Fridays. All right, just so if you're wondering about that, it always has to be a Friday because that's when new music is released. So that way you can get onto the playlists and stuff. And of course, there's Apple Music and iTunes and Deezer and lots of other places, but Spotify is the hotness right now as far as the playlists and the potential to get thousands of people listening to your music. I'm personally not a big fan of this whole save thing right now and trying to get people to save it. Like, I feel like they haven't made it super easy for fans, especially like if you're posting from Instagram. I guess from Facebook it'd be a little easier if you post the link, but then when you post a link that leads people outside of Facebook, you get penalized for that, and then it doesn't get shown to as many people. So that's why, again, you need to build an email list. And if you have not started building an email list, oh my gosh, you must be new to this podcast if you have not started building an email list. I teach you how to do that. Go to smartmusicbusiness.com/free funnel and learn how to do that and why it's so important. Because when you got that email address, it's the most powerful thing, man. Email ain't going away. What do you use to log into Spotify? Use email. What do you use to log into Facebook, Instagram? Use email. Email ain't going away, and that's why you need to be building that email list so that when you do have new music, especially on Spotify or whatever, you can email that list. Hey, I believe in you. Keep crushing this. Do me a big favor. Leave a comment below. Leave me a review on iTunes or YouTube or wherever you're listening to this. And just let me know that I'm helping you out. And I want to remind you that a fighter isn't someone who never fails. A fighter is someone who never quits. So don't quit on that dream and keep hustling.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and also leave a comment or a review and let me know how I've helped you or what other topics you want me to cover on this podcast. I always read them and it always inspires me to hear your story. And also, if you need more music marketing help or you just need more coaching or you need your questions answered in a deeper way, I have a coaching program called Fanbase University. Go to fanbaseuniversity.com to sign up because on the 12th and 24th of every month, I answer all your questions, coaching my students, plus you get access to exclusive video training on how to market your music and grow your fan base. Go to fanbaseuniversity.com and start your trial today, and I look forward to helping you grow your career. Cheers.